This method of reselling is a serious grind. I'll be reviewing my second store. If you haven't watched why I have this store, I highly recommend you go watch why I created this store. We'll go over visibility, sales, costs, and if I think this will eventually turn into something. If you're new here, my name is Kevin, the Stoic Reseller. I buy new and used clothing and sell on platforms such as eBay and Poshmark. I get these items from thrift stores and online marketplaces. If you're into deep dives, what's sold, thrift trip hauls, and honest reselling advice, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment below, and without any more hesitation, let's just start discussing the second store. Start with visibility. I think this is very important when it comes to this overall. Don't mind the mess back behind me. We've been doing a lot of cleaning and reorganizing, and it's just kind of thrown up there. So that's not the kind of visibility. Let's just let's move it over here. There we go. Now you can kind of see me better. You can see Lewis Black over here and Captain America Minion, right? So anyways, we're going to look at visibility because I think this is the most important part. Remember, these items are typically very low velocity, very low, I don't know, say demand, but does have enough sales to be viable to sell. And that's the kind of point of the store, is to kind of create a second store that has low demand, but maybe gets big enough to where you have regular sales. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the traffic here. So you can see the impressions. We started this store on October 16th. So we are about 3 weeks in now. You can see it just slowly has gone up and up and up and up and up. As the store has grown, it's slightly over 100 items right now. I think 103 if I'm just off the top of my head. You can see listing views has been very interesting, to say the least. And quantity sold has been very limited, right? So we've got 13 total sales. Let's look here. I wanted to look at, not sales, order. Let's look at the advertising, because this is important as well. So this is just all campaigns. Remember, every single item is under the same campaign, and it's at 7%. You can see, it's performing okay. Our ROAS is what I actually expected. We've only paid $10 out of all the fees, or for the 13 sales. It's resulted in 560 clicks. This method maybe requires a larger promoted rate. I don't know. I'm just honestly kind of low on this, but yeah, there's the visibility. Next is going to be the sales. Let's look at the sales. Let's go over here to paid and shipped. You can see we had 13 total sales. So you can kind of get an idea of what's been actively selling. And maybe this helps you in the long run. So the first item that has sold in this experiment is a Hugo Boss polo. Sold for $19.99, sold very quickly. I'm not going to kind of do what I do with the primary store here. I'm just showing everything. We got a built triple XL tank top, sold for $15.99. FootJoy golf polo, $17.99. Tanoa Samoa used to be a pretty good brand, but I don't know, now it's over here. It sold quickly. An Under Armour Alter Ego that had some kind of damage, some pilling or whatever. Nike golf polo, Tommy Bahama polo, Charles Tyrwhitt, however you pronounce that. I've come to find that this is actually a lot more bread and butter. This right here sells very well in this metric. You're going to see another sale here pretty soon. Clement PFG, again, pretty solid. Under Armour polo, more Tommy Bahama, straight down, and Under Armour. Let's look at what is active. I just listed some items today, so you're going to see some of them aren't getting very much, but what did we have? We have 103 items for a total value of $1,878.95. 105 total, because some have multiple quantities. Let's see, can we sort with watchers? So these would be our best items. A Nike Aero React with some logo damage. This Reebok golf polo, Under Armour polo, Adidas shirt, Patagonia shirt, a Fat Hardy shirt, some LL Bean long sleeve Henleys, an Adidas polo, Roan shirt, Cotopaxi, more Nike shirts, more Charles Tyrwhitt, 511 Tactical, Kahala, Callaway, and Hugo Boss. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say too bad. This does give you some interesting insight as to maybe what I should be picking up further. But yeah, there's the sales. If you can tell, I'm low energy because it's quite frustrating. The next section is the costs. So I've been tracking this weekly, and only because it's like an experiment. The full cost of goods is averaged into all of my stuff for tax reporting purposes. But for this store specifically, I'm tracking the average cost of goods, how many items, and whether or not we are in the profit. And the way this is derived is I have weekly deposits into the account, so I just put in whatever was transferred that week right here. Right now there's only like $12, so it's not going to change the needle too much. You can see here we've bought 123 items. I have had to discard 2 of them for stains that weren't seen, which is the risk you run with really anything you do in reselling. So yeah, you can see we've spent a total of $533.90. We have only recouped $98.44. If you want to be technical, it's closer to $110. But that leaves us minus $435.46. So keep it in mind, if you're thinking that this is an interesting experiment, I would really like you to let me know in the comments section. So there you have it, guys. Not a very long video, but it had been a few weeks since I made the first video talking about this store. And I've sat here, self-reflected a couple things. Do I think that this store is viable? I would say it's viable to someone who's willing to do this at scale, who's not worried about profit right this moment. I do believe that most of this, since it's just shirts, men's shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, polos, there's a lot of seasonality in this. Maybe this starts to pick up, April, May, June, especially when golf season rolls around. I do find mostly polos. Those are the things I feel the most comfortable buying, along with long sleeve button-ups. But I don't find too many within the price point. Remember, the principle of this store is $5 and under, with items that have a demand, albeit not very good, and sell for $20 under. There's 3 price buckets: $15.99, $17.99, and $19.99. So yeah, you can see it's a slow burn, and I don't know. It's really hard to get excited for this store, just because it's not really operating the way I had envisioned. I haven't had a single multi-quantity order, even though every listing states that there's a discount. But that could just be a product of not having enough items, I suppose. The other thing is, it's just, I don't know, these items just aren't moving. I mean, my secondary store right now is just blazing sales. Separating all these low dollar anchor items, either through just super discounting them or moving them over to here. I moved about 15 or so items over to here. It is calculated in that overall cost. I feel like that store is just humming now. This store, on the other hand, is just like when you throw charcoal into a grill, and it just has a very slow burn overall. And it's, I check on it every single day. I do offers. Like I mentioned, at 30 days, I will be delisting this and relisting items. Just trying to be active. I only list really once or twice a day, or I'm sorry, a week. Just whatever I find. I don't list daily. Maybe that's a factor. I don't actively take offers either. Maybe that's a problem. But I personally if you are an established reseller and you have access to good items already, I would maybe recommend this, like what I'm doing here, because I do honestly believe at some point this store will start to churn items. Like I said, it's most likely a seasonality issue. But at what point is the investment not worth it? You know what I mean? Right now, I'm looking into other avenues of sourcing that in the long run might be more beneficial. And I'm looking at, the $500 I've spent on this, and that $500 could pay for the first round of this additional sourcing method. So keep that in mind. If you are a new reseller, I would not recommend. I know there are people on YouTube that will tell you, hey, you need to list X amount of items per day. You need to get to X amount of items per day. Reselling is a slow burn. I'd rather have the slow dime than the quick penny. There's so many different terms that these people use. And, this store is an example of what they're actually trying to tell you, other than I'm not mixing in high sell-through items or high conversion items or high demand items into this store, unless they're just naturally a high demand but only sell for $20. So it's one of those interesting experiments. I will be probably continuing this for at least a couple months because I want it to be an example of what to not do or what to do. Maybe I change how we source, how I pick items up. But it's frustrating. If this was my only store and I'm putting all these low cost items into it based on, like I've seen resellers actively tell you to pick these items up. And, I guess that's the nitty gritty. That's the full transparency. That is my intent, is to show you that resellers on YouTube who are much larger than me are telling you to pick up these items. And you can clearly see that unless you're allowing offers, they're not selling. They're getting some attention for sure, but I'm not able to generate sales on a level that I feel is sustainable for the store. But again, guys, we will revisit this again in 2 or 3 weeks. I don't want to give an update every week as it's not humming, it's not producing. And I think that would just be boring content. But I feel like I owed this to whoever watched that initial video as an update and to really give you a real life example of something that I think most people are going to experience when they first start out, because all these items are readily available at every thrift store. And people just starting out will recognize these brands as well. So please help me get this and reach it to the masses, the people who need to see this. Recommend this video, because I'm not trying to dissuade you from reselling, but I'm trying to give you an honest perspective of what reselling truly and accurately is based on people's recommendations. What I do in my primary store is essentially a highlight reel, but it's packed from 5 years of knowledge of what is good. It's a curated, picked through list of items that range anywhere from 110 to 140 items per week. So this one, it stems from 20 to 30 items a week, and you can see the results. It's got about a 1% sell-through rate, maybe a little bit more. 1.2% so far over 3 weeks. So yeah, guys, if you found actually, before I get out with the intro, be on the lookout for my day one of my thrift trip. That'll be coming Monday. And then I won't be posting anything on the weekend unless I have a crazy haul. Then I do shorts for those. But yeah, if you found this video interesting or maybe even triggering, please hit the like button, subscribe. For more videos, comment below and never forget to what? Rule the day.